Hey guys, welcome to Friday's workout of the day, where your main workout and objective is going to be a heavy day of front squats, where you could totally be building up to a potential 1 rep max for today. So you guys can see that we're going to be building up with 2 sets of 5, 3 sets of 3, kind of sandwiched in the middle, and then 4 attempts at a heavy single. Or if you're a beginner to CrossFit, you could take that as just 4 heavy reps to end out there. So it's a good way to start, as I mentioned, if you're a beginner, finding a 1 rep max, or using this as a good front squat working day. So we're gonna build up to all of that using the barbell. We're gonna gradually add weight, and we're gonna start with this warm up that will also be in Sugar WOD. So you guys will grab a jump rope and a PVC to get started with the first portion of your warm up, which will be 50 single unders, 10 PVC passes, 10 PVC front rack, which I'll demonstrate for you in a second, 10 PVC overhead squats, and 10 pry apart squats. So you'll have your PVC ready, and I think the others you guys are pretty good with. The front rack stretches are, if I've got the bar in my front rack position like I would be doing for my front squats, where I'm just going to rotate back and forth between a front rack stretch, trying to keep that PVC and that barbell under my chin as best as possible, rotate one elbow up for a couple of seconds, rotate that down, and try to get my elbows and my shoulders as mobile as possible for the front rack stretches. Don't forget the pry apart squats are, I'm sitting down at the bottom of a squat and I'm using my hand to open up one of my knees, switching and doing the pry apart squats on the other side. So you can do 5 each side or 10 each side, but we're gonna get a chance to warm up your squats really well here in the second part. So take your time as you go through the first part of the warm up. Then the second part is going to be 2 rounds of the following. And it might get a little bit shaky down at the bottom of your squat, but I would really encourage you to do the full 30 seconds and to go through both rounds. So each of these you're gonna hold for 30 seconds. So you're gonna wanna find a 10-pound plate or a 15-pound plate, get a timer ready, and then you're gonna go through the following. And it says to kick off your shoes, and I want you guys to try this for today. So I want you to take your shoes off. You can totally leave your socks on. No one needs to smell your stinky feet. But I want you to take your shoes off so that you've got your socks and your feet are really grabbing the floor. So the whole idea in this squat warm-up is to really feel what your feet are doing. So are you somebody that typically goes in your toes when you squat? Or maybe you don't really know what your feet are doing as you're going the bottom of the squat. But I want your feet bare so that you can feel what they're doing. You should be grabbing the floor with your toes, and you shouldn't be swiveling too much on the outside of your foot or the inside of your foot, too much on the balls of your feet or back of your heels. So you want a nice planted grip at the bottom of your feet and gripping the floor with like your big toes. So your shoes are going to be off so that you guys can feel all of this. For the first one, you're going to grab your plate and you're going to hold for 30 seconds the bottom of a squat. So if I normally don't sit all the way at the bottom of a squat like this, I want to hold myself up, hold my chest just like this, and then I can use my elbows to push open the inside of my knees. Now, I can feel as I'm doing that, this foot just rotated out a little bit, and I can really feel that because my shoes are off. So if I feel that happening, I want to replant my feet and try to grip the floor again. My toes are coming off the floor, so I'm going to grip it with my toe, and I'm really going to feel that and use my elbows to open up my knees and also to get my hips nice and mobile for the front squats. After 30 seconds, I can stand, shake that out for a second. The next one is going to be another 30 seconds with the plate. This time when I sit down at the bottom of my squat, I want to work on getting my ankles mobile for the front squats as well. So what you'll see, I want my knees to start to come forward until up over my toes. So whereas before I was sitting back a little bit, my shins were nice and parallel, I'm going to bring them forward a little bit now while I'm holding this plate. I can also swivel right and swivel left as I'm doing that to try and get my knees over my toes. But the point of your second 30-second hold is to mobilize your ankles a little bit more. Remember, feel your feet. So as I'm going from right to left and swiveling, try not to let your foot come too far, rolling on the outside of your foot. Keep it nice and planted down on the floor. For the next one, you're gonna do another 30 seconds, but now you're gonna squeeze your glutes, you're gonna squeeze your core, you're gonna try to keep everything nice and tight, and you're gonna come up out of that squat just a couple of inches. You're gonna hold, squeeze, 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 and then relax back down to the bottom of your squat. So I'm gonna go down with my plate again, my feet are nice and planted, I'm gripping the floor with my big toe. I'm gonna come up and squeeze, 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 squeeze really hard, my glutes and my core, and then I'm gonna relax back down to the bottom of the squat. Come up, squeeze really tight, squeeze my abs, squeeze my butt, and then go back down, and I'm gonna go back and forth with that for 30 seconds. The last one, I can shake that one out. Now I'm gonna drive up even higher. So the last one, maybe I was coming up like an inch or two. This next one, I'm coming up to like a half squat, or maybe just a little below that. So from the bottom, now I'm gonna come up a little bit higher, hold right here, sink back down to the bottom of a squat. Come up, sink back down. So keep an eye on your timer as you're going through those. The last 30-second round, you're gonna ditch the plate and you're just gonna do regular air squats. So focus on what you're gonna need for the actual front squats with the barbell. I want my chest nice and high. I wanna open my hips at the top. I'm gonna feel my feet underneath me, then I'm backing my heels and my toes are gripping that floor. This is actually pretty cool. I can really feel my feet and what they're supposed to be doing. So I'm just gonna do nice and steady air squats for the last one for 30 seconds. And then you're gonna go through that a second time, okay? Then you're gonna get into your barbell warm-up. So pretend that this is a barbell now, and we're gonna head over to a front rack spot, or you could take these from the ground. So that's up to you, what you guys wanna do, depending on how crowded the class is. But remember, I'm gonna find a spot, J-cups that are about at chest height, and I'm gonna get those ready to go. Now, the warm-up for your front squat says 10 with the barbell, then add some weight and do 7, add some more weight and do 5, so that you're ready to go for your first 2 sets of 5. So look back at your old 1 rep max score, look over at the PR board and see if you've got a front squat number or somebody else that you can kind of compare your score to. Couple of things to finish with the front squat. So if I'm locked and loaded in here, remember the front squat, I want nice high elbows in the front squat, whereas push press, I might be down a little bit more. I want to loosen my grip some, so I don't need to have a death grip. I want to loosen my grip, like back to my fingertips, my elbows are nice and high. I want to take a nice big breath in, hold my breath as I go to the bottom of that front squat, and then I come back up. Okay, you can put your shoes on now when you guys get to the actual warm-up of the front squat portion here. Take your time. You should be going heavy enough that you need breaks in between your sets. Like I said, we can maintain our 12 feet of distance by having people doing a set here while maybe I'm in my box, keeping nice and loose, and then we can rotate spots. Or instead, it might be harder, but I could power clean my front squat bar, and I could do my front squats from here each time too. That's another option. If you need to bail, no worries. Remember, I'm just gonna come forward, and I would just drop my barbell in that way. Any other stretching, foam rolling that you guys need to do for this one? Otherwise, hopefully we see some really big numbers from you guys for front squat day. Have fun with it.